bit about my background, because I've admired some of you guys and gals who stood up and talked a little bit about your background. I came out of the University of Oregon. A couple years later, I went to work for a company called Central, S-E-N-T-R-O-L. They were a manufacturer of security components. At that time, they had one. It was a magnetic door contact. And 23 years later, we went from 18 million when I first joined them to close to $1 billion. And GE bought us. So it was GE SLC Technologies. And at that time, I was down in Arizona traveling, and I had responsibilities for a number of years, probably 20 of those years in North America, hiring the sales force and managing national accounts and hiring distributors to handle our products. And GE bought us 2 years prior, and they came in and told us, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for building a great company, but you will no longer be here probably in 2 years. GE brings their own people in at that level. And so 19 months later, I was in Arizona, I got a phone call at 6 o'clock because people in Connecticut at GE doesn't know how to tell time. He said, sorry, Mr. Fox, this is the day. So you wake up, and what are you going to do? So I went and made my calls, that's who I am, and went home and told my wife. She said, really? They couldn't wait till you get home tomorrow when you're home, right? And I started finding a new career and looked around in the corporate world, had job offers within a month in the same industry. But it was, again, traveling. I have over 1 million miles just on United. That's a lot of, I got tattooed right here, United. And it's like traveling around. So I wanted to get off airlines. I wanted to get off airplanes. I wanted to spend more time with my family. And I got into the mortgage business. And I was fortunate enough where I put a lot of hard work into it, but I came in. It was a crazy time, wild, wild west, as we call it. Stated loans, stated income back, and anybody could get a loan. Loan officers weren't treated with a lot of integrity by the community because we were kind of, probably loan officer, car sales rep, and on up. So we were respected.
Insurance.
And so insurance. So a couple years later, after working very hard and putting a business acumen into the mortgage industry, built a team and ran my income back up to where I was back as a corporate officer for GE. And I got kind of, I won't say lazy, but stagnant. You get to a certain point and go, okay, the monkey's off my back, doing well, man, I don't need to push as hard anymore. And I found an industry where I can be at home and still make a great living. And I went to a coaching summit about several years into my career called The Core. And I went down there with a little jaded impression because I've been to a lot of seminars. They used to hire speakers to come in and speak to our sales organization. And I was waiting for the second day where they say, hey, at the door today only, there's CDs and podcasts you can buy and books for $200 that normally cost you $2,000. Everybody, give me your credit card on the way out. And all the speakers were people that used to be in the business. So this core coaching group was totally the opposite. It was people that were in the trenches doing my business, real estate and mortgage professionals, room packed full of people. The second day they put up a coaching slide and says, there's probably out of 300 people in the room, 60 of you will apply, we'll take 20 students. You have to make a certain amount of money before we'll take you, so we're not taking newbies. And at the end of 3 years, your income will be here. They put this slide up, right, up this chart, one like this. So I signed up to be a core student. And part of the weeding out process was, hey, by the way, it's $2,500 a month. And by the way, if you quit, we'll charge your credit card for 6 months. Here's the contract. So quickly that 60 goes down like this, right? So I went home and talked to my wife. I signed up, got interviewed, and I was the last student accepted. And they told me I was the last student accepted because I was too old, too much management experience. I would argue all their points. Young guys would run circles around me, more energy. Why would we take you? And I was fortunate enough to give them the right answers that I was actually put on the wait list, and I was the last student accepted. So the first thing they did, and they were right, I did fight it for about 3 or 4 months because I had to develop new habits. And the forms I put in front of you, I want you guys to take a look at. I'm not going to bore you with mortgage things today. I'm going to try to change your life. Maybe these forms may help you. So one of the sayings of the core coaching group is that leads solve all problems. So how many of us today, if we had more leads, which drives revenue, could solve some problems that we're concerned about? So one of the things that we start doing as core students was working up these fundamental forms. There's a lot of other things went into the coaching, but these were the fundamental forms that I still use today after 4 years. So a greatness tracker is just tracking your activities. Seems very simple, but it's actually very difficult to do consistently. So I'll go through these quickly because I'm going to run out of my time probably. But the first section here is face-to-face meetings. My goal was to have 15 face-to-face meetings a week. So we call them one-on-ones here in the chapter, right? But I was doing 15 face-to-face meetings a week. I was breaking bread with 5 people, breakfast, lunch, coffee. It was called break bread. Why do we break bread versus face-to-face? Because someone's willing to have lunch or coffee, you're going to have more quality time with them. It's a little deeper, like at your dining room table. I had to turn in 60, or I had to make 60 phone calls a week. So I time block my week. I still do it to today. Tuesdays, I make 60 phone calls. Every Tuesday. It takes me 3 hours. Now, it's easy for me to do. I have a lot of clients. I have a lot of current clients. I can call them. But I make 60 phone calls. Events, I try to do 1 or 2. Last week, I'm sorry I was absent, but I had a speaker in. Thank you, Donald, for coming. Thank you, Esme, for coming. Had a speaker in from Las Vegas doing a class on credit. I count my prospecting hours. So if you really record and are honest with yourself, my goal was to do, now you can put any number in here you want. I can email these forms up to you, you can change it. But I wanted to do 21 prospecting hours a week. You start tracking it, you're going, crap, I did 10 this week. Because I found myself busy doing everything else. Paperwork, oh, what's on Amazon, this, that. If you really start honing in and tracking it, what you're really doing to drive revenue, my goal was 21 hours a week. I send out 10 thank you cards. I try to have 10 leads a month. And I try to have at least, out of those leads, 3 turn into transactions. So you can take this form and you can apply it to any business, right? And Tim, these are the same forms that the realtors use. You've probably seen this before in some of the coachings you've been through. But I challenge you, if you want to grow your business, take this form and track it. Now, you got to ask yourself, because this is a ton of work, 2 years of work to create habits. I'm going to go real fast. Next one is lead tracker. How many people do their lead tracker by sticky notes? How many people have moved their desk and said, oh, there's a paycheck, but there's a sticky note that I lost and forgot to call? I mean, be honest, we all have done that, right? So there's no magic to this form except you're actually recording it in one central place that once a week I go back on Friday, do my lead tracker, follow-up calls. But the genius is in the bottom of it. You see these different buckets down here? CCR is current client referral, PCR is past client referral, PC is past client, PF is personal friend, then I have a realtor, then I have an ad bucket, then I have professional business partners, then I have builders. It's one thing of getting leads, but it's a second thing of really honing in where your leads coming from. If you don't track your leads, how do you know if your marketing dollars are spent correctly and spent in the right area? You should have a 3-legged stool of revenue. For me, it's my realtors, my business partners, and my past database. Everybody in this room has a database. Everybody in this room should be working their past database, the CRM platform. So I'm getting to stop, and I'm going to go for, if you guys allow me, 30 seconds more to cover these last forms real quickly. Pay log form, super important. I can't tell you how many times, especially in November and December, I meet with realtors to do a business planning class, and I'll ask them, because the title person will be there, and they'll ask the title person, how much money did I make this year? They don't know. So you have to track your pay log, right? It's very simple. Your commission or whatever you pay, I mean, if you're W-2, you get it, it's set. But people that are commissioned don't really track it. So you track your pay log, and you do the math down below to find out your average cost of sale and what you're doing every month. Super important. Family budget. How many people have ever done a family budget? When you sit down and you write it on a form, it tells you obviously what you're spending every month, so you better figure out how to drive revenue to cover your family budget, right? And that's the importance of doing a family budget, because till you know, you're fooling yourself. I knew I had money coming in and money going out. I knew the checking was always positive, but I never really honed in until the coaching forced me to do this. Every 2 weeks, turn it in. And you find out, geez, I could probably cut back. We had a guy in one of our coaching calls. He was having a couple slow months. Coaches ripping him on the family budget, saying, what's this $500 for dog care? He goes, why? My dogs get lonely. He goes, you can't afford to pay gas and groceries, but yet you're paying $500 and you have 2 dogs. They can keep themselves company. Quit taking them to dog care for $500 a month. And he made him turn in a receipt the next week to show that he canceled the dog care, or he's out of the program. I mean, they're really serious when you're paying that type of money. The last one is profit and loss. And the profit and loss, again, is just tracking your expenses in your business so you can really know, which direction you're going. Anyway, thank you, Pat with Caliber Home Loans. Anybody wants to come